रदो अन्ति देवा जत्रा नश्यकरा जरशन्तनूनाम् पुत्राशो यत्र पितरो भवन्ति मानो मद्यारीरिखता युर्गन्तोः अदितिर्योतिरन्तरिक्षमदितिर् माता स पिता स पुत्रः विश्वे देवा अदितिः पञ्चजना अदितिर्जातमदितिर्जनित्वं द्योः शान्तिरन्तरिक्षं शान्तिः पृथ्वे शान्तिरापः शान्तिरोषधयः शान्तिः वनस्पतयः शान्तिर्विश्वे देवाः शान्ति ब्रह्म शान्तिः सर्वगुण शान्तिः शान्तिरेव शान्तिः क्षमा शान्तिरेधि विश्वानि देव सवितर्दुरितानि पराशुव यद्भद्रं तन्न आशुव यतो यतः समीहसि ततो नो अभयं कुरु प्रजाभ्यो भयं नः पशुभ्यः। ओम शांति 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 सर्वारिष्ट शांतिर्भवतु। बोले गुरु महाराज की जय। व्यास भगवान की। पाद्योर्पाद्यं समर्पयामि सहस्रशीरिखा पुरुकः सहस्राक्षः सहस्रपात सभूमिगुं सर्वतस्पृतिवाततिष्ठसाङ्गुलं पाद्योर्पाद्यं समर्पयामि। गन्धं श्रीखण्डचन्दनं दिव्यं गन्धाढ्यसुमनोहरं विलेपनं सुरदृष्टचन्दनं प्रतिगृहतां गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुर् साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। श्री गुरुदेवताभ्यो नमः। पुष्पं मालां माल्यादीनि सुगन्धीनि मालित्यादीनि वे प्रभो मया हृतानि पुष्पाणि पूजातं प्रतिगृहताम्। ॐ अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्प्रदिशं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। अज्ञानातिमिराधस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। नमस्तुते व्यास विशालबुद्धि फुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारतैलपूर्णे प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमया प्रदीप। व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वे ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। असतो मा सद्गमयः तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमयः मृत्योर्माम् अमृतं गमयः। ॐ नीलाम्बुजगश्यामलकोमलाङ्गं सीतासमारोपितवामभागं बाणो महासायकचारुचापं नमामि रामं रघुवंशनाथं। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीताया पतये नमः। बोल गुरु महाराज की जय। व्यास महाराज की जय। सियापति रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय।
Check, 1, 2, 3, check, check. वरिनानामृतसंहानां रसानां चन्द्रसामपि मङ्गलानां जगर्तारं वन्दे वाणी विना संतत शंभु भवानी अर्घत संभव मुनि विज्ञानी व्यास आदि कवि बरज बतानी काव्य सुंदर गरुड़ तेहि की आरती श्री राम जी की कीरति आरती श्री राम कमल हरण विषय रस की सिंहार श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। सभी लोग आसन लीजिए। श्री राम जय जय रामा श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। सभी लोग स्वागत। Let me take this opportunity on behalf of all of the hard-working members of the organizing committee of this Ram Katha Yajna to welcome each and every one of you here today as this is the third session of our Ram Katha. But before I proceed with my sermon today, my message, I will ask you to listen to the members of our Kirtan Mandali who will do for us two bhajans.
रघुवर रघुवर तुमको सदा सदा में शरण तिहारी। तुम हो गरीब निवाज रघुवर, तुमको मेरी लाज, तुमको मेरी लाज, तुमको मेरी लाज, तुमको मेरी लाज।
बंदो चरण कमल रघुनंदन, बंदो बंदो चरण कमल रघुनंदन, कमल रघुनंदन, कमल रघुनंदन, कमल रघुनंदन, कमल रघुनंदन, बंदो चरण कमल रघुनंदन, सुता युध दुष्ट निकंदन जनक सुता युध दुष्ट निकंदन बंदो चरण कमल
श्यामति रामचंद्र भगवान की सभी लोग स्वागत मन ध्यान करो there is all focus our minds to the divine as we shall Varnanam Marat Sanganam Mangalanam Chakaritaro
Vande Vani Vinayako Vande Vani Vinayako
Jai Raghunandan Jai Siya Ram
Jai Raghunandan Jai Siya Ram
Raghunandan Jai Siya Ram
Jai Raghunandan Jai Siya Ram
हे दुखभंजन तुम्हें प्रणाम
हे दुख भंजन तुम्हें प्रणाम
हे दुखभंजन तुम्हें प्रणाम
हे दुख भंजन तुम्हें प्रणाम
जय रघुनंदन जय सिया राम
जय रघुनंदन जय सिया राम
जय रघुनंदन जय सिया राम सियापति रामचंद्र भगवान की Let me once again take this opportunity to welcome each and every one of you tonight. We see I have my dear brother Lekram Tiwari here, Panditji, Swagatam, and all others who have joined us tonight. We welcome you. This is the third session of our Ram Katha. In the first night, we discussed that the theme of our yajna will be to identify what are the distractions that exist in our lives that prevents us from maintaining a constant relationship with God. We all have a relationship with God, but it may never be constant. It may one day we love God, the next day we don't want to talk to God. Someday we think God doesn't love us, and so on. So what is it that causes us to have these intermittents? And then we talked about the power of the name of the Lord. Ram se bara Ram ka naam. And then we talked last night about the subject of one very key factor that disconnects us from God, and that is doubt. When we doubt the power of God. And this was presented us in the Katha Bhag, Shri and Parvati in their meeting with Prabhu Ram, where Bhagavan Shiva paid obeisance to Prabhu Ram, and Parvati questioned, why is it that you who are so supreme will pay obeisance to an ordinary king? And of course, the concept is that not Parvati was ignorant, but it's to show that when there is doubt, and not that women are ignorant, but to show when there is doubt, whether in man or women, then that can cause that great lack of faith. Doubt is a seat of lack of faith. The more we doubt, the more we lose our faith. The more we believe, more our faith grows. Tonight we want to continue with this concept of how we are detached from the Lord. What are the things that pulls us away? If you look around us in our lives, in our homes, we have our furniture, we have our materialistic possessions, our jewelry, maybe money. Outside on the driveway there are cars, and then there are bank, there's money, then there's a job, then there's our education, there's our vacation, there's our likes and dislikes, there's our clothing. And all of these things are the trims or the frills and fancies of life. And these frills and fancies of life are basically the distractions from God. Not that we should not have a home or car or money in our lives, but when our lives is only taken up with the home, money, car, and vacation, and all of these things, without any consideration from God, we have drifted away, and as such, this Maya, the world and the materialism of the world has pulled us away from God. Without us intentionally wanting to do that. You know, a child who grows up in a good home, who gets into the bad company and drifts away, never intended to be bad or to drift away, but because of the influences of the company, they drift away from the guidance of parents. हम सब भगवान का संतान है. We are all children of God, and we too get attached to the materialism and we drift away unintentionally. How do we retrieve ourselves from that distraction? How do we overcome that distraction? Tonight our katha will be about those who came to the realization that this world is the greatest distraction. Now, someone said, Panditji, if the world is a distraction, should I leave this world? You want me to die? No, 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 no. The scripture says you must live in this world and never become attached to this world. Because why is it we must not become attached to this world? ना ये तेरा ना ये मेरा मंदिर है भगवान का पानी उसका भूमि उसी की सब कुछ उसी महान का ना ये
तेरा ना ये मेरा ना ये तेरा
ना ये तेरा ना ये मेरा मंदिर है भगवान का. This world or nothing in it belongs to us. It is not mine nor is it yours. ये मंदिर भगवान का. This world is the Lord's temple. All the earth's surface, all of the ocean waters, सब कुछ उसी महान का. They're all gifts from God. So do not become attached to it and let that become the purpose of your existence. Exist knowing that you've come, you've met it here, and you will leave and you will still be here. If we come to that realization, then we stay attached to God. If we do not come to that realization, then we are detached from God. But it is important to bear in mind that mentally we may be detached from God. But for lack of a better word, physically we're never detached from God. Because as long as we exist and being alive, Bhagavan exists within us. And that is what is called the Atma, or the soul. And that Atma is a spark of the Pare se Pare Paramatma. So our connection to God is never disconnected, although we may not be connected mentally. Now someone said, Panditji, how can you be connected and not be connected? We do that every day in our family lives. People who are born from the same home, the same family, live in the same house, do not talk to each other. Physically, they might be connected. They have bloodline connection, but mentally, they don't want to see each other. They have no relationship with each other. Similarly, we do the same thing with our relationship with God. Today we join Ram Katha, page 101, for those who are joining me. And we are introduced to a couple who may be related to you and I in the way we live. Sant Goswami Tulsidas introduces them. होई न विषय विराग भवन वसन भाचोत्पन्न हृदय बहुत दुख लाग जगनम गए हरि भगति बिनु सियावर रामचंद्र की जय शरणम. There is this wonderful couple by the name of Manu and Satrupa. They are considered by our scriptures to be the firstborn of the first of God's creation. They're the father and mother of humanity. We are told that they lived a very long life. And then one day, Manu sat down and reflected upon his life. And he says, look, you don't have everything. I have total control over everything that I have. I have a domain, I have people, family, accomplishment. And I have all of these, and I know that these were granted to me by the grace of God. But he says, there is one thing very, very important that's missing from my life. And what is that is missing from my life? I fail to realize the presence of God in my life. I'm happy, I have everything. Now this could be just about half of the world's population or more. We have everything, we are happy, but there's no God in our lives. And then there are some moments when we ask ourselves the question, Mai kaun hu? Who am I? And why did I come here? And then what is the purpose of my life? I have money, I have car, I have education, I have all of these things, but I'm still asking myself the question. That is what we call the conscience within us, speaking out and saying, hey, aren't you missing something in your life? What have you done to build your relationship with God? And then someone else said, well, to do that, I'm going to go on a tirt to the Himalayas, and I'll go to the Ganges and immerse myself, and then I will have made my connection with God. But throughout my life, I never thought of God and think that one day, one dip in the Ganges, and everything is okay. Now just imagine if a child says, Mom, don't worry, let me do shoplifting, let me do all these things, and then I'll just come home and ask for forgiveness, and everything is good. No. Thus, Manun Suchupa came to that realization, and this katha is intended to relate to you and I. Manu and Suchupa represents the ordinary man and woman, the family, the people in Grihastha Ashram. We are all Grihasthis. We are all in this Grihastha Ashram. And in this family life is whereby we are challenged. First, we have said that we must spend time in the Brahmacharya Ashram. That is from the age of birth to the age of about 21. We should be learning about what life is about. And we all do this. We all go to school, we get an academic background, we get a degree or two, we get a job, and we're successful, or maybe we're struggling, but then we get married. Or we are supposed to get married between the age of 21 to 25, or somewhere around after that. And then we are supposed to spend the next 25 years. Just imagine if you got married at the age of 25. And you took out a mortgage on your house. At that time, you bought a house. And then for 25 years, you have a 25 years term mortgage, by the way. That's what it used to be before the world changed. So, and you have your children between the age of 25 to 30. So if you have 5 children, by the time you are 50, they're 20 to 25. Your mortgage will be paid off. You're debt-free, and the children are all grown up. Isn't that so simple? That's the Grihastha Ashram. So during this Grihastha Ashram's life, we're struggling. We're trying to pay mortgage, get the children off to school. They're driving us crazy. We don't know why we did get married. Why did we have these children? Why did God give us so bad children? Of course, I'm not talking about you people here. I'm talking about the other people. And as such, we have all of these challenges in our lives, and we overcome them. So in these stages of our lives, we are challenged. So Manu and Suchupa have reached this stage whereby, look, we have learned, we have lived, but did we learn enough to live well? So let us come back to the Brahmachari stage. What is it we must be learned or must be taught at this stage other than the academics? Every parent must realize it is their paramount duty to relate to their children, to imbibe in their minds and in their psyche that God is a key factor in your life. But what we tend to do as parents, we tell our children, look what daddy bought for you. Look what mommy did for you. Look what your nani did for you. Look what your aja did for you. And we fail to realize they're all doing it because of Bhagwan. So the child grows up and says, mommy and daddy, nana and nani and aja, they all give me things. And I like them. When they stop giving me things, I will stop liking them. But if the parent says, Bacho, whatever we give you, let it be known that Bhagwan ki kripa se, it's through the grace of God. And every day the child remembers, through the grace of God, through the grace of God, through the grace of God, that they get everything. Then they remember there is a God. You know, there's a little story I want to tell you that I learned many years ago, listening to my father read, that, you know, a man kept telling his son all throughout his life, he says, Bacho, remember, it doesn't matter what you do, wherever you are, and if you think no one is seeing you, God is always seeing you. The child grows up with that thought in mind. And then, so it is, the journey of life led them to a time when poverty took over. They did not have anything to eat, and they were here to there. And the father decided that, look, tonight I'm going to go to the neighbor's farm, and they have very lots of provision on their trees. I will go and steal some of it. And he decided to take the same son with him and says, son, I want you to stay here at the bottom. And you look around as I'm up there picking. If you see anyone coming, you just call out to me and I will come down and run away. The father climbs up the tree and he's about to pick the first fruit. The son says, hold it, Pitaji, hold it. The father says, what's happening? He says, Pitaji, somebody is coming. The father looked around and says, no, nobody's there. He said, Pitaji, Bhagwan, he's seeing you. So what we tell our children, they tend to tell us and remind us ourselves. So remember, if we teach them about the power of God, they'll remind us that mom and dad, remember, God is listening. I want you to know that we pick this time of the day particularly because we know this is the time the aircraft will pass by. So we will distract your mind and see how well you can focus while they're going by. So how well are you doing? Are you still staying focused? Or are you worrying about what size of engine is passing by? So this is Man Dhyan Karo. So let us try doing that focus. Basri wala. Om. Man Dhyan Karo. Sit upright and focus our mind. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Har 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 Mahadeva. Har 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 Mahadeva. Bolo.
Hare 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 Mahadeva. Hare 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 Mahadeva.
Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Bolo. Namah Shivaya.
Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Bolo Namah
Namami Shamisha Nirvana Rupam Vibhum Vyapakam Brahma Veda Swarupam
Namami Shamishay Nirvana Rupam Vibhum Vyapakam Brahma Veda Swarupam.
Har 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 Mahadeva. Har 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 Mahadeva.
Hare 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 Mahadeva. Hare 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 Mahadeva.
Manindra Chupra, having come to this realization that they've existed in this world and very little attention was given to the fulfillment of human existence, that is connection and ultimate realization, oneness with God, have decided they will do something about it. Let us think about this in our day and age. Do we just have to stop doing everything and drop everything and say, look, I want to go into the Himalayas and dedicate myself to God? If you're married, no. If you wanted to do that before you were married and you want to become a sannyasi or brahmachari and disconnect from the grihast ashram, that would have been a good choice. But once you move into this realm, then you stay within the course and look after your responsibilities. of governance of a family, nurturing a family, developing a family, dealing with all of the things that comes with the Grihastashram. So it's not that everyone, this scripture says, everybody pack up your grips and let's go to the jungle. No, no, no. You have responsibilities, and these responsibilities must be held and carried out. It is a kartabya, a duty, to do these things and to do them right, to be a good father, to be a good mother. But in the case of Manundra Chupa, in presenting the concept to humanity, Sant Goswami Tulsidas tells us, Chopai. Ram, Siya Ram, Siya Ram.
Ram Jai Jai Ram, Raghupathi Raghav Raja Ram.
हो पर सब रज सुतई तब दीना नारी समेत पवन बन कीना
Ram Siya Ram Jai Jai Ram, Raghupathi Raghav Raja
ओम तीरथ बरन मिश विख्याता अति पुनीत साधक सिद्धिदाता
Ram Siya Ram Jai Jai Ram, Raghupathi Raghav Raja Ram, Patita Pavan Sitaram.
Having come to this conclusion that there is a duty that they have not performed in their life, Manu and Chupa gathered their kith and kin and everyone together and called upon the eldest of the family, the son. The father says, I want to hand over my responsibilities to you, that you may carry on the family tradition and take full ownership of all lands and possession, for I and your mother want to go into this state of becoming sannyasis. Now I want you to know, as parents, don't do this. Don't give everything to your children and say you take care of everything, because you might end up being on the street. Because they wouldn't know how to manage it. They just said, I've got it, you've done. In reality, this is intended to present us the 4 stages of life according to Satya Sanatana Dharma. The 4 stages are the stages of learning, brahmachari. The second stage is grihas. The third stage is called vanparas. And the last stage is called sannyas. Going back to my analogy of getting married between 21 to 25, having your children, and then buying a house, paying off the mortgage. When you reach 50 to 55, that is the most challenging time in everyone's life. You know why it's challenging? Your children are about to leave home or should have left home. And you have no mortgage, but then you are suddenly lonely again. You don't have them around, although they were a problem. When the house is empty, it's a different situation. And the challenge of giving up and learning to detach, to become a tyagi, a vairagi, whereby I have to give these things up. Meaning, I can't do all the things I used to do. I can't be of that energy that I used to be. Learning to accept and adapt to that transition is one of the greatest challenges to humanity. Not working to pay a mortgage. It's after you've paid the mortgage that you have to leave the house behind for someone else to look after it. And you have to leave all of your possessions. That is the greatest challenge, because now we have to become tyagi. Hinduism is based on the concept of bhakti, jnana, vairagya. Bhakti, devotion, Jnana, knowledge, Vairagya, detachment. Have devotion to God, have the knowledge of the power of the devotion that will teach you how to detach from the world that you live in. So they are about to become Vairagis, people who have detached. And do not take this message the wrong way. No parent must believe that they should hand over any child, anyone, all of their responsibilities. Today we have power of attorney and all of those type of things. That if you are ill, you give your children power of attorney to take medical decisions for you. But the law does not allow them, even if they have power of attorney, to take care of your wealth while you're still alive. So, by the way, this is a lesson in retirement planning. And we all should do this from time to time. And don't think that you're too smart to know it. There must be a will somewhere along the way. And so retirement planning, because as good as the children are, when it comes to money, the children suddenly have different objectives and points of views. Siyabadi Ramachandra Bhagavan ki. So, Sant Goswami Tulsidas and Valmiki ji, this Katha is to relate to that age and to this age. In that age and time, people went into the forest dwelling. Today we go into a retirement home. But it's still a form of retirement. Now, this thing called retirement, in Canada, the age of retirement, the official age of retirement, Sunita, is, what is the official age of retirement?
25.
For you, it's 55.
No, 65.
See, what is the official age of retirement?
65.
Which country we're living in? The official age of retirement in this country is 65. Your company may give you an option to retire at 55. But you cannot collect, you can collect Canada pension from 60 and onwards, but officially 65. And then at 65, you get not only, you get old age pension. So from 60, you can get Canada pension, and then 65, you get old age pension. So when you reach 65 and you get that money, that's you're old. Okay? So officially, it is 65 is the retirement age. 60 to 65, you can retire, but you must, for most people like me, continue to work beyond 65 and still working. But the government programs pay. You may have a company pension, like some of you who are working with companies or the government, and they give you an option that you can retire much earlier, and some people choose early retirement. But I want to caution you, those of you who are contemplating retirement, that don't think his retirement is, oh my God, I don't have to get up and go to work anymore. Look at what, I wouldn't do anything anymore. You're going to die very soon if you think that way. You will die from boredom and inactivity. You will get Alzheimer's disease and everything else. Because if you go that way, you're letting the body go to waste. So retirement does not mean stop doing things. It means giving up your desires for things. Retirement doesn't mean stop doing things. It says give up the desire for materialistic things. Your desire for them was from 25 to 55. I want. From 55 onwards, I want to give. But I still want. But I want not for myself, I want to give to others. So those of you who are contemplating retirement between the age of 55 and 65 or about that, remember, you still want, but what you want to do is to give. If you're over 60 and you're contemplating this, please talk to me. We need people who want to give. And not money, but give of your time. Give of your education. Give of your knowledge. Give of your care, your affection and compassion. These are the greatest gifts that God has given you that no one can take away. Siyapati Ramachandra Bhagavan ki. Manu Chuchupa, having concluded that they need to go into the forest and to contemplate in God. Now they had one thought in their mind. There was this thought about really experiencing God. When was the last time you sat down and contemplated, how do I really experience the presence of God in my life? Let me ask another question. The young person, how do you experience love for another human being? Maybe a boy for the feeling love for a girl. What is the experience? How do you feel inside? Ravi?
I cannot tell you.
Ravi has never experienced that, right? So, some people say you get a warm feeling all over. When you're around them, you're getting nervous, you're sweating like me right now. So there are different sensations, emotional sensations. But, so these are the emotional sensations when we are getting materialistic love. What are the sensations we get when we have experienced the presence of God in our lives? Anyone? Well, that means maybe we didn't experience God in our life yet. So do you remember what it felt like when you did? So this is the question. You must ask this question, get up tomorrow morning, sit down and says, okay, God, where are you? Come to me, please, so I can experience you. We rarely ever do that. We pray. It's like if the young man sat in front of the picture of the girl that he likes and says, please, let me experience love for you. And when he sees her, says, I don't want to talk to you. But he's in front of her picture saying, let me experience your presence in my life. If we sit in front of our murti every morning and say, Bhagavan, let me experience, but when we are to give an opportunity to serve in the name of God, we fail to create that. You know, when you do, there's the feelings. When you give, there's a feeling. When you take, there's a feeling. Our scripture says, when you do, when you give and you take, create Krishna Arpanam. I am doing it in the name of God. And the more we do it, more we'll experience that it's God that's doing, and I am merely the tool of His doing. Siyapati Ramachandra Bhagavan ki jai. So they have decided to go into the forest, and they take off on their journey. Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Raghupati
Raghav Raja Ram, Pati Pavan Sita Ram.
पहुँचे जाई देनु मतिया तीरा हर्षि बिहान हीरा मलनीरा
Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram.
आए मिलन सिद्धि मुनि ज्ञानी धर्म धुरंधर निपरिषि जानी
Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram.
जहाँ जहाँ तीरथ रहे सुहाए मुनि नसल सादर करवाए
Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram.
विषय शरीर मुनि पत परिधाना सतस समाजम निधि पुराना
Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram.
पतित पावन सीताराम. In their journeys, based on their geographic reference of where they resided, they had to travel by foot to go into the forest. And in their journey, they had to cross rivers. They endured the crossing, going to the forest and crossing over the rivers. And in their journey, as they started to go into the forest area, they started to notice there are people in the forest already. People who have made that commitment that they're about to make, who have gone to the forest to go into the state of, to become Vairagis. When you start on a course of life, you'll always find people who are already in that pathway. If you want to become a good cricketer, and you start going to the cricket field, you'll find there are lots of people who have desire to play cricket. If you want to gamble and you go to the gambling, you'll find there's lots of people here who like to gamble like you too. If you want to have fun, whatever it is, you want to go to the Bahamas, you go to any resort, you'll find people like there, you too. And if you want to go to do seva, you go there are people who are doing that also. But you have to want to be there and want to do that, and then you will experience that other people are doing the same thing. But if you are saying you want to, but you want to play cricket, but you never went to a cricket field, you never met a cricketer, you never held a bat in your hand, you never deliver a ball, you never feel a ball, you're only wanting to be. There are many people who want to be, and what we call them, the wannabes. They want to be. I want to be, I want to be, I want to be, but I am never. Why? You never stepped out into the field to want to be. I want to be a good singer, Panditji, but you should go to music class. Oh, I don't have time, but I want to be a good singer. I want to be a good person, but you never tried to do anything good. The want to be's. So they met not people who want to be, they met people who are. So, association. Binu sat sanga vivekan hoi, Ram kripa binu sulabhan
सोई राम सिया राम जय जय राम रघुपति राघव राजा राम
बिनु सत्संग
विवेकन होई राम कृपा बिनु सुलभन सोई राम सिया राम जय जय राम रघुपति राघव राजा राम
सत्संगति मुद मंगल मूला सोई बल सिद्धि सब साधन पूला
राम सिया राम जय जय राम रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम
बिना सत्संग विवेक नहीं होती है. Without the proper company, one cannot truly evolve in that objective that they have. If you want to play cricket, you hang out with cricketers. And the more you hang out with cricketers, the more you learn the game. If you want to come connected to God, then you hang out with people who are in that pathway. So who are the people in the world who wants to become connected to God? Don't put your hands up now, please. Right. Dhanyavad. Nobody else wants to become connected to God. Are we objectively living life to be connected to God? Or are we subjectively living life and said, I'm subjected to God, I can't do nothing without Him. So what should I do? Everything is in the hands of God. But Guruji, what can I do? Everything is in the hands of God. Of course it's in the hands of God. So don't eat, let the food sit in front of you and say, it's in the hands of God for you to eat. He will give you the food. Let's sit there and watch it. Will you get nutriment? You have to take some action. I will have to take the food, put it in my mouth and chew. If I'll sit and watch the food, it's in the hands of Bhagavan. No. Everything in the hands of Bhagavan. He's created everything, but we must perform karma. We must do. As such, we must become karma yogis who live. And we are all karma yogis, by the way. In the Brahmacharya ashram, we are all karma yogis. So Sant Goswami Tulsidas is saying that as they are going along the pathway, they are finding lots of people who have made that commitment to go into the jungles and to contemplate and to come with one with God. Now in this day and age, there are no jungles to go to. The only jungle is on the streets. Instead of going out to the jungle for retirement, we have mandirs. We have places of worship where people come and take refuge. And no one leaves their home and goes away and says, I'm going to spend the next 6 years in Mandir. No. But they have Katha, like 7 days, a pilgrimage of 7 days, yatra. You know, when in the olden days when we used to start this, I used to tell people we are going on a cruise. in the ocean of devotion. You know, a big cruise ship, our cruise ship started on Monday, and we are sailing in the ocean of devotion, and during that time we'll stop at many ports, and we'll learn many different things. So in life itself, when we choose to find a pathway, do not literally translate the scripture saying, okay, if I want to be this good, I need to go to India, in the Himalayas. No. And I need to go to the Ganges. No. If you have that privilege, go. The Himalayas and the Ganges are right here. Now, one poet says that if you say you're going to the Ganges and you're going to the Himalayas, but you have your parents right here and you're not doing anything for them, don't go to the Ganges. Start here by doing seva to them, and that is like going to the Ganges. There's beautiful bhajans that tell this story. So, Manu and Satrupa, in their journey, are meeting people who are in like mind doing the same thing. So when you're in the environment, bina satsang vivek nahi hoti hai. When you're in the right company, the knowledge will come. When you're in the wrong company, it doesn't matter how much you try, the knowledge will be not available to us. Siyabadi Ramachandra Bhagavan ki. So they've met many others, and they've taken on a pathway, and they've gone on this weight loss program. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Weight loss program? Like, you know, the doctor said, Panditji, you have to lose. If you want to maintain your glucose level, you need to lose 7 pounds. I'm talking about me, right? So I said, you know, doctor, I'm trying my best. But, so when we are told that you know, you're borderline diabetic, and if you don't do that, you're going to go over borderline, then you have to get insulin. So you get a warning, and then what you do, you go home and you start dieting right away. You're dieting right away, and then you go back after 3 months to get the blood test, and then the doctor says, look, you're still on borderline, you know, but you're stabilized, you're holding. Many of us are really relating to God that way. Bhagavan, am I on borderline, or do I have to, or don't I? Do I have to pray every morning? Should I? Or maybe I could miss it today. And we don't do our diet regularly, and we don't follow the prescribed pathway. And what is happening? We get diabetes. And then now when we get diabetes, there's no reversal of the process. You're diabetic now. But you had a chance to stabilize it. And at that time, now when you become a diabetic, you want to do all the, oh God, all the. Similarly, do not wait until we are diabetic, that we cannot function properly before we see our connection to God. So Manu and Satrupa travel along with this pathway, and they came to a place whereby, as they're traveling, they're given up all the pleasures of all the mithai and laddus and pera and barfi and so on, and they're just eating roots and fruits, the natural element. A message? You know, there comes a time in our life when we have to give up the ice cream. Right, people? You give up the ice cream, Tara? No ice cream, no coffee with sugar, you know, double without the sugar, right, and so on. And you start, that is part of the detachment. We don't know it, but we are doing it. That's part of it. I'm detaching my desires. Well, I like to eat that, but I can't eat it anymore. I like to, but I can't do that anymore. So, ye tyagi hai. But that is forced tyagi. Not by choice tyagi. These people, by choice, they've decided, I am going to go, I'm to take on these basic diets, and my body will adapt itself. So Sant Goswami Tulsidas, they've done this not for 1 year, 2 years, but many years, where their bodies have become totally emaciated. They're walking around, very little flesh on their body, and they reached the point where they decided to sit, reside, and meditate. And we are told, Doha. having traveled and with the objective in mind was to go in a quiet corner and to meditate upon God, they finally found a suitable place and they made it their abode, and they spent all of their days when they're awake meditating, chanting. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bolo.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And in this manner they meditated for days upon days and nights. What was their objective? When we meditate, what is our objective? Anybody tell me, why do we meditate? Because I want to lose weight? Why do I meditate? Bolo, bolo. To connect ourselves to Bhagwan. So we meditate to connect ourselves to Bhagwan. And how do we know when we are connected? Like, how do you know you're connected to the internet? There's a little device says you're connected. And then it says your connection is low, by the way. Your internet connection is very low. Your bandwidth is low. So how do we know if our bandwidth, we're connected, but is our bandwidth high or is it low? How do we know? Where's the meter? If you got a meter, you're measuring, say, okay, let me see how did I connect this morning? Low connection, high connection, full connection, which one is it? Do we have a meter that we measure our connection with God? Well, let me give you an example. If we find that we get up every morning and we do our prayers, but when we go outside to meet human beings, we can't talk to them, we can't communicate with them, and we are having a tough time dealing with the world, our bandwidth is very low. Although we're paying Rogers. You know, you're paying Rogers, sometimes you still your bandwidth is low. Although we think we're doing all the right things, but we are not communicating with people, our bandwidth is low, as such, we have no connection. But then, we get up in the morning and we, Surya Narayana Bhagwan, Ehi Suryo Sahasranso Tejo Rajo Jagatpate Anukampaiman Deva Grihana Adham Yamastate. Oh Surya Narayana Bhagwan, when you rise this morning, shine equally upon all and everyone. Let me bow to you. And you meet and greet everyone, Namaskar, Pranam, whatever it is, and you smile and you say, thank you very much, good to see you. Your bandwidth is very high. Yes, there is a method to measure our bandwidth connection to God. And this Om chanting, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, or Om Namah Shivaya, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, whatever it is, that is our tuning in process. You know, once you you connect to the internet, you have an IP address. We all know this, right? Right, guys? You know what I'm talking about? We all have an IP address on our device, and immediately when we switch on our phone, the IP address, it sends us a thing to the network, the local area network, to the wide area network, the world area, and bingo, your IP address gets picked. Pandit Sharma is on his phone. Within seconds it happens. It's faster than that with God. It's beyond nanoseconds. The minute we feel consciousness, we are connected. And even when we are not, when we are asleep, we are connected. Our internet is working with God day and night, 24/7, and we pay not even a dime. This Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya is our, what they say, initiating a connection with the divine. We must keep this connection going. Do you want your internet to drop? Is anybody who wants to have their phone and the internet drop? You complain? Hey, why am I disconnected? So we want to stay connected. So we are told that we must constantly be meditating for God. So someone said, Panditji, you want me to go to work? You want me to deal with my boss? And you want me to chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya all day? Can we do that? That's called multitasking. Is that what it's called, Marissa? Multitasking. I want you to play the harmonium for me, Marissa, and sing. I want to show you what's multitasking.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Everybody.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Keep your hands, maintain the pose. She's a pretty girl. She give her a big hand. Stay there. Look at her hands. Her left hand, what is it doing? It's pumping the instrument. It's doing this. What is her right hand doing? That takes coordination, by the way. Two different things. One is to pump air into the instrument. The other one is to play the notes. And while she's doing that, she is singing. 1, 2, 3. The next thing, the rhythm. Now play tabla, bacha.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Bolo.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
While she's chanting, she has to remember the words she's about to sing, say them, and to maintain the rhythm with the tabla. What do you call that? Is that not multitasking? Look how easy it is. So you're telling me we can't think of God and do a job every day? But we never think of multitasking that way. We think of multitasking when we're watching TV, eating a sandwich, and playing the violin and the piano, and calling with our friend at the same time. That's multitasking. That is multitasking. Now, why is it that I use the reference of this child playing this instrument? You see, traditionally, everyone was supposed to learn music. Everyone was supposed to learn to dance, and in particular, men. We're supposed to, by the way, traditionally, women were not the classical dancers. All of the masters of dance in the world are not women. Their masters are men. Why is it that men were the dancers and not women? Now, you know the statistics are for people who are suffering from high cholesterol and diabetes for South Asian community, we have the highest rate. We have more death rate between the age of 45 and 60 in the South Asian community that suffer from that. You know what it's caused by? Obesity, lack of exercise, high cholesterol level, and so on. So do you know why now men used to dance? There's no better form of exercise than Kathak and Bharatanatyam. So, and this was a great way to stimulate the multitasking capability of the human being. Because dancing in that form, everything had to be engaged, and we were projecting everything. Our entire way of life, such as Sanatana Dharma, provided us. Now, everybody's not going to go to a dance class right now and try to do Bharatanatyam or Kathak. But we must understand that we have the ability to multitask, that we must never think that I can't pray to God or give thanks to God while I'm doing what I'm doing. And that is why, in maybe the olden days, when before all of this television and all of this technology, people would be working and singing. Do you remember back when you'd go and hear someone joyfully singing to themselves their songs and they're doing their job? When was the last time you did that? When was the last time you whistled? Like you're walking along the street and whistling. You know, to whistle, you have to be very happy. Those of us who come from colonial countries, remember people are walking in the street and they're whistling away and they're singing, and they didn't have a radio stuck in it. If they had, they were very rich if they had a pocket radio. But today our kids are walking around with two things plugged in the air, with a cell phone in their hand, and walking right across, and the car is doing this, and they're just walking. As such, they're not in tune to that. So singing was a form of meditation. Singing was a form of bringing us in tune with ourselves, because we had to feel the song we were singing, feel the emotion of the singing. And by the way, singing while we work was a tradition throughout the world by all people. If you go to the native communities all over the world, singing while they work was a way of life. Where they were cutting trees, they were singing. Where they were working, cooking. When was the last time you heard a housewife singing away and, and sure the fire is going and sing? No, they're too busy, they're stressed out. They're wondering what's on the phone, or they're talking on somebody on Facebook while they're cooking. That's why the food doesn't have that much flavor, that we have to buy food all the time. So they say, oh, I couldn't get cooking because I was busy on Facebook. As such, we have so many distractions. And I like to come to a conclusion at this point, it's Katha today. All of the distractions, Manu and Satrupa were trying to remove themselves from it. So they went into isolation. We cannot go into the jungles. How do we go into isolation? How many of us have cell phones? Don't lie, put your hands up please. Come on, how many people have cell phones? Put your hands up. Rita, put your hands up. Gaurav? Good. But did you have one? Good, okay. All right. What is your routine with cell phone? What is your schedule for being engaged in your cell phone? Is it like, do you use it for every 2 hours a day? Do you use it for 3 hours a day? Do you use it for all day? Anybody want to give me the schedule? Let me give it to you. It's 24/7. You have no schedule. You're constantly on it or off it. Some of our young people, like all day, like they do mantras. Ravi, is that how it goes? And Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. And as such, the cell phone has become their mode of attachment to the world. By the way, the cell phone can be very good if they're on a site that's chanting them to chant the Purusha Shuktam or the Shri Shuktam or some mantra, and they're listening to it. That will be good. But that's not what they're doing. And that's not what we're doing. Most of us are, tell me some of the names of some of the social media things. Instagram. Tell me, come on.
Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook.
Snapchat, Facebook. What else?
YouTube.
TikTok too. Come on, whatever, you got so many of these.
Twitter.
All of those, right? So you have so many choices. And does anybody know how many television channels we have? If you have one of those boxes, you have like thousands of television channels. So we have so much distraction, people in the world. Manu and Satrupa didn't have half of that. So their lives, to be exact, was very easy. All they had to do was pack up their bags and so we are going into the jungle. And they didn't have to apply for a visa. They didn't have to get a pass. They didn't have to gas up the car or find out to charge the battery. They would say, let's go, no donkey or anything. We are walking. Today, in this day and age, we have all of these distractions. We have to work harder to stay connected to God. Yes, ye Kal Yuga hai. Kali Yuga kevala nama dhara. In this day and age, the only way we can stay connected to God is by chanting His name. Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Sita Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Rama,
Rama, Sita Ram, Ram Ram.
Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Sita Ram, Ram Ram.
Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Sita Ram, Ram Ram.
Sita Ram, Ram Ram, Sita Ram, Ram Ram.
Sita Ram, Ram Ram,
constantly be reminded and remind ourselves of our relationship with God. Chanting His name is a simple way. It is said that there is mananam, sravanam, or kirtanam. 3 approaches to staying connected to God. Mananam means having a mind focused upon God. Sravanam means to listen to the glories of God. And kirtanam means to chanting the name of God. Think carefully. When I asked you to chant just now, and for those of us who are chanting, what were you thinking about when you were chanting? Stop for a moment and pause. Now we will go through the exercise and let's see. Hare Rama Rama Ram Sita Ram Ram Ram.
Hare Rama 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 Sita Rama Rama Rama.
Sita Ram 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 Sita Ram Ram Ram.
Sita Rama 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 Sita Rama Rama Rama.
Hare Rama Rama Ram Sita Ram Ram Ram.
Hare Rama 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 Sita Rama Rama Rama.
What were you thinking about? Hopefully nothing. You were hearing yourself singing beautifully and you were calling the name of Rama. So there was Sravanam, you were hearing yourself. Mananam, you were focusing and you were chanting. So in Kirtanam, there is Sravanam and Mananam. That is why in this age of this Kali Yuga, Kirtanam in this age of Kali Yuga, Kirtanam is recommended as the simplest form of connectivity to Bhagavan. So today I want to conclude that one way of connecting with God and to avoid the distractions of the world, which are so many, is to chant. Sit and chant or meditate. Siyapati Ramachandra Bhagavan ki Jai. Let me take this opportunity to thank all of you for being here. And we would like to thank especially Pandit Lekram Tiwari, who has come all the way from the East End. He's the leader of a very, very active organization. And I'd like to ask Panditji to offer us his blessings with a few words. Please, come over. Give him Panditji a microphone. Pandit Lekram Tiwari, Talia.
Vyas Bhagwan, distinguished Pandits, sisters and brothers, Namaskar. You know, today I felt that I have just was able to elevate myself somewhat. And I'll share a quick incident. Probably today you had 1 or 2 before you came to Mandir. I'm talking about bottled water. If you're to buy a bottled water in the store, it may cost you 25 cents. The same bottled water, when it's in a vending machine, costs you $1. And if you go to a high-end restaurant, same water, doesn't change. Quantity, content, brand name, doesn't change, costs you $5. We have just elevated ourselves to that 5-star by just listening to Katha, listening to Babaji. Siyapati Ramachandra ki.
Dhanyavad Panditji. Thank you for your brief but very profound message. We are continuing with our yajna. We will be continuing tomorrow night and all the other nights. Our Sampuran will be on Sunday morning with Maha Havan. You need to register at the office to let them know that you want to participate in Maha Havan, because we'll be doing Maha Havan outdoors in the patio area where everyone will sit down. They'll have individual Havan Kun and we'll be doing the Maha Havan. During these nights, everyone is invited to join us. Invite your friends and relatives to join us. And if you would like to be a Yajman and participate in the puja, you're welcome to do so. If you would like to volunteer in the activities of helping to serve bhojan and to clean up and do all of the basic seva, you're welcome to do so. If you want to join our mandali, please speak to Rukminiji or Taraji or the Panditji, let them know that you want to join. All of these things are open. Let's give a round of applause to our Kirtan Mandali for their chanting. And many of them are reading the Ramcharitmanas as you listen to them. we will continue to do this. I will ask them to do for me one bhajan, and then we'll be having arti. Arti tayar. We will continue our Katha of Manun Satrupa tomorrow night when we will hear about what requests they made to the Divine Lord. So please join us tomorrow night as we continue that Katha, and then we will go into from there, move quickly into being introduced to Prabhu Sri Ramchandra Bhagwan in human form.
जिनके हृदय श्री राम बसे और को नाम लियो न लियो जिनके हृदय श्री राम जिनके हृदय श्री राम बसे और को नाम लियो
Shri Ramachandra Bhagavan ki. Now there's a chant that we started since Monday night, a chaupai that we've learned. How many of you were here on Monday night? Haath utaiye. So you remember? Param Prakash Rup Din Rati. Bolo. Param
Prakash Rup Din Rati. Param Prakash Rup Din Rati.
Param Prakash Rup Din Rati.
Param Prakash Rup Din Rati.
Param Prakash
Param Prakash Rup Din Rati.
Literally translated, faith in God is like a brilliant light that grows in the heart of the devotee day and night. Take that light with you tonight, bring it back, share it with everyone you meet, and join us tomorrow night again. Sabhi log khade ho jaye, aarti karenge. Everyone please stand. आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सिया पी की
आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सिया पी
की आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित हाथ जोड़कर we clasp our hands in front of our chest and bow our heads humbly. As we offer concluding prayers, I ask you to listen to the voice of Marissa as she will lead us in closing prayers. Shantakar.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadharam Gaganasadrisham Meghavarnam Subhagam Lakshmikantam Kamalayanam Yogibhidyanagamyam Vande Vishnu Bhavabhayharanam Sarvaloke Kanatham Om Dhyau Shanti Antarikshagum Shanti Prithvi Shanti Rapah Shanti Rushadhaya Shanti Vanaspatya Shanti Vishwadeva Shanti Brahma Shanti Sarvagum Shanti Shanti Reva Shanti Sama Shanti Redhi Satkamaya Jyotirgamaya Amritangamaya
Sarve bhavan
Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchit Dukha Bhag Bhave Ma Kashchit Dukha Bhag Bhave
बोलिए सियापति रामचंद्र भगवान
की जय
गणपति भगवान
की जय
उमापति महादेव
की जय
राधा कृष्ण भगवान
की जय
लक्ष्मी नारायण भगवान
की जय
पवन सुत हनुमान
की जय
सद्गुरुदेव भगवान
की जय
धर्म की
जय हो
अधर्म का
नाश हो
प्राणियों में
सद्भावना हो
विश्व का
कल्याण हो
धरती माता की
जय हो
भारत माता की
जय हो
ओम नमः पार्वती पते
हर हर महादेव हर हर महादेव
बोले सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय व्यास जी महाराज की जय गुरु भगवान की जय सियापति रामचंद्र भगवान की जय
धन्यवाद आसन लीजिए प्लीज बी सीटेड we thank you for joining us tonight. Preeti Bhojan Prasad is prepared for everyone. This is prepared for you in the banquet hall. So you will enter into the Mandir again, into the banquet hall, and there take Prasad. You may take your Prasad with you, or you may stay in the seated area and have your Bhojan. We look forward to seeing you again tomorrow night. Panditji, thank you for joining us tonight. And all of you who have come for the first time, we welcome you and invite you to join us again. Those of you who have been here more than once, please do come again. And do bring questions. A prashan hai, you can write it down and give it to the team leader, and we will see if we can address them during our satsang. Siyapati Ramachandra Bhagavan ki jai. Om Shanti. From the favorite godchild, that's you.